where you were in the race and what happened to you. I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd like to... Oh, yeah. Want to wait for Tyler?
That's okay. You can start right now.
It looks like Tyler's coming in. Boy, great conditions today. Not very, not too hot. A little bit hot on the backside there, but just the scenery and the community's been overwhelming. But today was hard. Like, I figured I wanted to get ahead on the first climb, just kind of get ahead for the downhill, and ended up getting a wood screw in my back tire.
A wood screw, folks, and we're going to segue back. This is Tyler Wren, the Renegade. Another podium. Great ride by Tyler today. Third place overall in a smoking time of 4:28 plus. Great job, Tyler. Excellent, buddy. Way to go, buddy.
So yeah, got a wood screw, pulled over. I didn't know what was going on. All of a sudden I'm descending on the big downhill and I hear this like tick, 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 tick on my bike. And I thought I broke a spoke. I stopped, I looked, I spun my wheel, my front wheel, nothing. I was like, I'll go again. And then I started going really fast and it was getting louder and louder and louder. I was like, I got to stop. So I stopped again, and sure enough, I look, and there's big old wood screws sticking out. And looks like we got fourth place here.
All right, folks, call them in right now. Great job, flying. Awesome. This is none other than LeRoy Papowski from Colorado Springs, representing Dewey Slipstream. Great job. So check this out. Wood screw, there's nothing worse. I mean, that descent is fast. It's washboardy. Were you a little bit worried about going down?
Well, I didn't know what was going on. I thought, oh, my bike is going to break, and I'm going to just yard sail on this downhill. So I pulled it out, and I'm not the best at changing tires, my whole career. I didn't have practice doing that. So, I get the tire, I get the wheel out, and I'm like trying to get first you got to unscrew the whole tubeless thing.
That's a tire lever you use.
Yeah, so I get my tire lever, but I had to get the tubeless valve out, to make room for the tube, and I get the tire lever, and I can't get the tire off, and I'm like so weak, and I finally get it off and get it on there, and it took me, I think I noticed that the time was like 4:17, but on my Garmin it said 4:11, so it took me about 6 minutes to change the tire, and finally get it changed, and I start going again, and it's towards the bottom, and there's gnarly washboards. I mean, my vision, I can't even see, and all of a sudden Dave Weens is there on his mountain bike. that was pretty cool, fellow Leadville winner. But he's on his mountain bike, so when we hit the pavement, it was like kind of all up to me because I'm on a cross bike. But that was cool. Then we caught a group, but right at the bottom of I think they call it the Sarlacc pit. Yep. So it ended up being a big, long 4-hour time trial for me. And Jamie was the last one I caught, and he was going really well on the climb, and I was suffering. And finally, I recovered a little bit, and we got to the 1 mile sign to the top of the KOM, and I figured I need to get a gap on him. I don't want to risk him beating me in the sprint or something, so I started to go and gapped him enough, I think. So from then on, it was just pain and suffering.
So wait a minute, I gotta know that I get this straight. An international pro struggling with a tire lever?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a road cyclist.
That's awesome.
We never changed our own tires. We just called the car up. There's no car today.
Ronnie, he's got his people for that.
That's awesome. But one of the things that Bert set out to do with this race early on was to make sure it was you had to self-support.
Absolutely. I mean, that's
awesome.
Makes it epic. It makes it such an adventure, and anything can happen. And, obviously every year the big discussion is equipment choice. Mountain bike, cross bike, which tires, disc brakes. I mean, nobody has the exact same setup out there. So, anything can happen. But I think a wood screw it wouldn't matter which bike you're on. That would have done you in.
Somewhere there's a mechanic going, I showed Levi how to do that once. He should have figured.
Hey, 6 minutes isn't that bad.
6 minutes.
That's not bad.
That's not that bad considering you're exhausted. I was thinking 6 minutes. It'd probably take me 20 into those conditions.
You know what? It felt like 20 because everybody, I could hear people just ripping past me on the downhill, and I was like, oh, that must have been like 30 people that passed me. I even heard a couple guys laugh as they went past.
And they were all going, dude, I just passed Levi.
No, one guy was like, ha ha, like the guy from The Simpsons.
You know it was a problem when you saw the Steve and Amy on the tandem pass.
Oh, that would be gnarly.
That would be. Oh yeah, they're on their way. Ooh. Did you not see them this morning when you were warming up?
I did see them.
Steve and Amy.
I kind of forgot, but
yeah, they popped a wheelie on the way out.
Boy, descending that on a tandem.
While they were track stood for 30, 40 seconds on the call up this morning.
They did? Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody track stand on a tandem.
Skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't come to the crush unless you got some skills or some fitness.
And the best part, we were talking about those two this morning to some folks that we went and ate breakfast with, and we know them from the cyclocross series, the local series, and they raced the Halloween cross on a tandem. They were in costume. One year they were JFK and Jackie Kennedy covered in blood.
Wow. I don't even know how you'd make it around the corners.
Oh, it was awesome. It's something to behold.
Steve, you should really invite him to your Grand Fondo. He'll probably bring his fat bike, okay, and he'll take that down to Fruta and he'll ride that single speed fat bike down in Fruta, no suspension.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've seen some people on single speed, fully rigid fat bikes or even mountain bikes. I'm like, that looks tough.
It was awesome. I was talking, I don't know if you heard, but I was in Santa Barbara last week, and the weather's been fantastic. So, I mean, I don't think it got above 80 while I was down in Santa Barbara. I got to ride my bike through Hope Ranch, and I was thinking last night, I'll just be honest, last night I told Bruce, I said, I don't know that Levi's in shape on this one. And then you show up and I look at you this morning, I was like, was really wrong about that.
And I went cha-ching because there's a lot of money riding on you, so thank you. I owe you a beer.
Yeah, I don't know. I love riding my bike, and if I get a little bit out of shape, it's like, after all those years of training and racing, I still have that feeling like, I'm out of shape. I better go out for some rides. But it's fun for me now just to go out and really enjoy the bike and not be on a set schedule and no intervals and
no coach calling you on the phone saying,
exactly.
How come you didn't upload your training peaks your power file, Levi? Come on.
You know what? Now I train a couple of the mountain bike kids in the NorCal league.
Yep.
So now I'm on the other side of that. I'm like, checking in on them, like, hey, you missed that interval. What's going on? So
we got
pressuring them now.
It's awesome that you bring that up. So last year, Bruce and I got to the pleasure of announcing a couple of those Utah races and the state championship. I think you were down in Moab last year. And one of the things we were talking about last night as we were preparing for today's race is what you were doing with those guys, with the kids out in NorCal. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? What are you doing?
Yeah, so, when I had the idea of the Grand Fondo in 2009, I thought it was going to be on a smaller scale. We'd raise some money for like some local animal charities, like this. Our main beneficiaries of Forget Me Not Farm, which is a therapy farm for at-risk children, where they come and work with these rescued farm animals to help break that cycle of abuse. But the Grand Fondo became so popular and so big that we were able to raise much more money than we thought. And so one of the beneficiaries now is the NorCal League, which is where NICA and the whole high school mountain bike.
McInerney, Steve McInerney, and all those guys.
Austin
McInerney. Sorry.
Yeah, and Matt Fritzinger was actually the one who started it. So it's really overwhelming for me personally and our community to be able to. I mean, we are the title sponsor of the NorCal League, to be able to raise the money and give back to those kids and the next generation. Obviously. Everybody knows my past, and I feel it's my responsibility to do that, and I'm more than happy to. And
listen, I'm aware of your past.
Yeah.
Crushing races all over. we all have stuff that we don't like, but we have a whole lot of stuff that we've done well, and it was really neat. I've seen, I follow you on Twitter, and to see the passion that you still have, and that you're transferring that to kids is really cool. And Austin said something last year when we had like 700 people at the awards ceremony last year. It's just, NICA has just exploded in Utah.
Yeah.
And
Utah is the fastest growing league in the entire nation.
Yeah, it was amazing. And as we were talking, as we were up on stage, kind of Bruce and I were kind of marveling at how big this thing had gotten. And once I heard Austin talk. So Austin's on stage with Ned, and Austin says, the best part about this is there is no bench warmer. You ride, and I don't know if you heard this while we were out, but I heard one kid talk to another kid, and he's standing right next to me. He goes, dude, how did you finish? He's like, I got 42nd. The other guy's like, dude, I got 43rd. And they high five. It was awesome, like you would never expect.
And the way they score it between teams is an average of the boys and the girls, so they're all a team together.
Yeah.
And like you said, nobody's sitting on the bench. Everybody's out there racing. And NICA and what NorCal has done is totally revolutionizing cycling.
So look at this, Bruce. We got Jeff Lauder coming up.
Nice job, Jeff. 5th place this year. Great time, Jeff. 4:39, buddy. Congratulations here. Jeff had the funkiest finish. So, folks, please, if you have kids, think about high school mountain biking. Like they said, it's in Utah. It's a